Hello everybody, welcome to another charting session here in the channel. Today is April 25th and I'm going to go over the action today. So to look at the 4 hour, you can see we are definitely showing the beginning of this sell side of this curve, and hopefully we can even go below this liquidity level as well. Zooming in on a 15-minute, today we had retraced a little bit higher. As you can see, yesterday we just sold off the entire day and even sold off a little bit this morning, and then we reversed to the upside, and I'll be going over how we reversed to the upside. So very first thing to look at here is if we go into this fractal right here of starting of with yesterday's action, you can see that we have at the very top of this move right here, we have this manipulation, this little manipulation leg. It's not really little, but you have, right, we go up and then we slow down, and right here you have two big strong candles. So you're going to draw a manipulation leg just like this, right? It'd actually be like this. So here's standard deviation of this, right? And then you can see here that this is the 2.5. We go here, and we didn't all the way go back up, but we were pretty bearish, and so we went down, ended up going down to this 3.5 to 4 level, which also does align with this liquidity. Oh wait, sorry, not this liquidity. We actually did not take out this liquidity, so we may go down here in the future, but we did take out this liquidity. So we see that, and I'm going to draw this out real quick. All right, so we tapped into here. 1 second, there we go. And then if we look into this morning, I'm going to go on the 1 minute chart and replay action from this morning. All right, so starting here at 8 a.m., here's something to notice. So right here, let's look at the structure, and then let's bring it up on ES as well. It's up here. Here it is. So right here, let's sort of identify what happens. So we ended up not actually, okay. So we had news at 8:30. So anytime around here, I would not really be looking to take a trade because 8:30 is going to be most likely unpredictable. But we can see there are any SMTs that were created along here at all. I mean, not really any important ones. There's one right here, but it did not play out. Nothing right here is really going to play out. So starting at 8 o'clock, see what happens with actions. I'm going to do this. So we ended up taking this low. All right, when we took this low, we had a strong manipulation down, taking this low. You could draw, if you want, standard deviation with this. All right, so putting this a little more, here's news candle. And as you can see, this manipulation that ends out taking this low. Price does actually come up to here in the beginning of this news candle. And then another thing to notice here is that if you go to the 5 minute, for whenever there's news candles, we will usually respect a 5 minute. And here's an example. So if I draw out OTE right from the top of this high to this low right here, you can see we have this fair value gap that is aligned with OTE. I'm gonna draw this out. It's sort of aligned, but you can see we hit that and we end up respecting it. This would be your stop if you were to place into that trade, and it would come very close to it, but there's no 5 minutes above. It targets the highest 5 minute, right? And the 5 minute that's closest to OTE, we also do a little internal sweep of this high as well. So here's liquidity sweep. Okay, so heading lower, we get a massive sell-off, and I'm going to go to the 1 minute again. So first things first, we sell off, and we don't really retrace to this 1 minute. If I was seeing this move, I would want to see us do this. If this was any regular move, I'd want to see us retrace the discount. The only thing is that this is news, so most likely we could just really have tapped this, or just tapped this, or even not have tapped it and just head lower, because news doesn't really work as well. So that's why you gotta wait usually like 30 minutes after news settles, so around 9 o'clock. So right here is 9 o'clock. And now another thing I want to add in is, and this is very important, but with this wick is manipulation, right? So this is what you would draw, the top of this wick to the bottom of right where it started. So right here, and you want to do standard deviation with this. And what this will do is it will line up right where the other one lined up at. So here's this. Here's your projection level. Not that. And then this aligns obviously with this projection level. And you could either put it there. I wouldn't put it here because, number one, this doesn't line up with the previous standard deviation level. And also, this is slow, right? We want to see the movement that happened at the moment. That was really quick. So here it is. And here's the projection for that. And we also do have this liquidity right here aligned with it. We also have this low right here, but it's not as prominent. So watching action here. Let's see, was there any SMTs at this high? So this did not take the high. Did it take the high here? Yes, okay. So right here, we have a very small SMT. And with SMT, the first fair value gap that it taps is usually what it respects. So that's what did happen here. You have your 1 minute fair value gap. You'd put your stop at the top of this candle. This trade would work out. If you were taking this trade, you would target down here, or either this -2. So we tap -2, and we sort of just go right back down to here. And let's see if there's any bearish SMTs on any of this. I don't believe there was. No, it does not look like we really had any. I mean, we sort of did, but they're not really that prominent. So we go down here, and after we complete this standard deviation, this is where you're going to want to see structure to create a reversal, right? So we're going to try to see a reversal to go higher, and after we take out this, our reversal to go higher, we are going to want to target discount of this previous range. So we create our SMT right here. This is the high, right, that started this move. This is the low. This is the manipulation. This is where standard deviation started. And this is where it ended. So out of this right here, we want to see a retrace out to discount of this fractal. And then looking at this fractal right here, where we also reached our standard deviation projection, we want to reach discount of this fractal as well, which is just a little higher. All right. So now I'm going to watch price action. So what we're looking here is an SMT to be formed, some structure. So we take out this high. This is one confluence. We may want to go higher. We take out the high, and also notice that when we do, we don't really instantly displace. We kind of stay above it for a bit. So sort of consolidating, and let's see, there are any SMTs right here. So we have, yes, we have our first SMT. So here it is right here. But then you also want to notice that, there we go. You also want to make sure there's no above SMTs. So if you're going to take a play off of this SMT, which is in favor of the draw, you want to make sure there's no SMTs above here, any prominent ones. So we do have one right here. This one, honestly though, is not that prominent, so probably wouldn't worry too much about it. But after these both are broken, so you would have to, and you'll notice here, right, at the time we had an SMT right here, right, but it got broken through because the high was not put in yet, right? The high was being put in, but you cannot trust it. So play this a little bit more, you can see SMT is now broken. So let's also look at this high. I remember looking at this high at the time too. So this to this, right here, we had a pretty big SMT that was slowing us down. So I'm going to draw this right here. And this SMT is broken. Right, it's a little weaker than this one because this one's in favor of the model. This one is just going against the model. But again, we completed standard deviation. The market wants to flip to the upside. So right here, after you get your SMT, look for a fair value gap entry. You can see so far not a single one, right? The only thing we kind of have here is, I mean, this is sort of like a little wedge pattern, but I don't see anything good in that real quick, or at the moment. So let's see what happens here. So you have this SMT, we ended up selling off. Did we create an SMT over here too? No. This is how it's supposed to be drawn. There we go. We had a sort of a mini one right here. So I guess we can draw this in. Right? So we end up selling off. And something to notice right here, a couple things we got to notice, is that number one, we have, I want to see if this is SMT at this low. No. But we do have manipulation. This right here is a manipulation leg, 3 strong candles down. It's the last of the move. So we can put standard deviation here. And you can see that we actually beautifully tapped this level of standard deviation. We also tapped into this 1 minute fair value gap. And with this SMT plus this, we sold off, right? Now, this is a protected low, until the objective is taken. So our objective here with this SMT should be this low, but with our manipulation leg, it honestly could be this high, right? So it could be this high or this high. If I was in a trade here, I would honestly want it to be this high because of this right here, because of this move. And besides, I think on top of all of that, the reason why we also want to go so much higher is because we have this massive external SMT. So let me just check real quick. Let me do this. Okay, so this low to this. So yeah, this took it. Yeah, this took it here. Okay, never mind. There might not be an SMT. Actually, it might be to this. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. All right. Well, that's fine. It really doesn't matter. But anyways, protected low right here. This, anytime we have manipulation leg, and especially since we had a little internal manipulation right here, this is going to be your protected low. So if we're bullish and we want to go way up here, we're not going to take out this low, right? So we come down and we ended up just not taking out the low. And we also do sort of have a little manipulation leg candle right here that I'm going to mark out. So again, projections are sort of similar. So let's check for any more SMTs. Where's this at? 1055, okay. All right, so we got none yet. Now with this right here, if this is a protected low, we put in a low here, and then we get this massive displacement up. We're most likely not going to come back down here, and this does look like a good manipulation leg. So what I could expect is we may see some sort of fractal price action. So I'm going to draw a discount. Let's say we wanted to retrace it down. Is there any bearish SMTs? There actually is. Right here, there is a small bearish SMT. So we'll see if this pushes us down to discount here, which perfectly aligns with this 1 minute for value gap. So we do end up hitting it right there. We also did do a little internal manipulation right before we hit that. So there we go, and then we can also draw out. Actually, I did this the wrong way. We could draw it to see if this went to OTE of the range. So that did. Beautifully respected OTE. So now I'm looking to find longs, right? We have also created this manipulation leg, taking out these lows, and they were very strong down, right? We had slow building up, strong displacement down that did like double the length of this little move right here. So here is your manipulation legs. And so you would actually draw them like this. And we can see where this lines up, right? This lines up around here too. These two levels line up close to here, which also lines up with this liquidity, right? So we got buy side liquidity up here. Okay, so if I was taking a long, I'd also want to look at the SMTs above just in case, right? Just to make sure. So see here we have equal highs. Okay, so one thing I want to note, because of ES's characteristic, when we create equal highs, we usually are going to keep them and we don't come back to them. So that can be used as SMT, as a reversal. But in this move, this is the stronger model. Going to the upside is a stronger model. Plus we are in a we're in discount of this fractal. So I would be more long biased, right? And so let's see what happens here. There probably are 30-second fair value gap entries, but we end up taking this high and dumping back down. Now again, this right here, if this is a true manipulation leg, right, which it is, plus we respect, this right here should be a respected low. So we most likely will not come back down to this low, right? So I'm going to put sell side liquidity. We're most likely not going to go back out down to this low. This is the reason why this gets untouched. So let's see what happens here. Right, we're not touching any of these lows, and now we're in a premium of this entire range up here. So let's look at this real quick. So this high and right here, so here is an SMT. But the thing is that I would not be taking a short right when this SMT creates, because that just could be meaning NQ's behind, right? This is still, this all right here, this external model still makes us way too bullish for anything bearish to really play out, unless more structure and more confirmation for a bearish move takes place. Like for example, we have not taken this high yet. We have not even went to any of these areas in standard deviation. There's no reason that we should be heading lower yet. Okay, so we do a little retrace right back into this 1 minute. So here's 1 minute retrace, respected it once, so we're going to respect it again. We'll also sweep these equal lows, or just these lows, right? And then of this fractal, let's see what we head to. Look at that. We had a discount just like that. Okay, moving higher. We've reached this area and all of the levels. So now I could expect us to see a retracement. So let's see what happens here. Could not be a retracement. It could just slow us down like this. And we end up coming up and hitting this area, and we took out this buy side. Okay, so now we've done this entire range. So I also want to see if we were to head lower, which I want to see us head back up to here, because on this entire external model, that is what I would like to see. So what we possibly could do from here is either just run up to premium of the range, or we come back down to discount of this entire range. So we just kind of want to see what happens, right? Let's look to see, is there an SMT here at the time? So there is an SMT. So I guess we just have to see what happens, right? This also does look like a pretty good manipulation leg. So here would be standard deviation, which 2.5 does match up with this, but we'll see what happens still, right? If this was your entry. This would be your first entry right here. And let's see if there is an internal SMT. There is no internal SMT. So you can already tell what happens, but we end up not respecting that. We end up going higher, and now we're in premium of the range. So now that we're in premium of the range, I'm wanting to look for any sort of short possibility, right? So we're here now. And keep in mind, guys, the objective of the day has been taken, right? The objective of the day, we reached this standard deviation. We took out this low. This was first objective. Second objective can either be to retrace to a premium of this range or to take out this buy-side liquidity. And so premium of the range could be taken out. But let's look at some setups here. So number one, we do have an SMT up here. Also, first retrace to first fair value gap. Here's your fair value gap. Here could be your entry. And your first target would really be this low, but you could target 50% of this range, which does look like it would have already got hit, or you can target this low. So let's see what happens here. I personally would not take this trade because discount's already been hit before my entry would have been given. But you can see here, it does look like we tap OTE. Yep, so we respect OTE right here. Move back up. Let's see if there's any SMTs down here. We have an SMT right here. It's really all there is, but we do have a little SMT right here. Get a push up. First fair value gap that gets hit is this one. It does end up failing, and I don't blame it because we are in premium. We're very high in premium. I would not take a long very high in premium, especially if this is the target, right? Now that we've hit target here, we also do have this manipulation leg right here. Even though it did not take this out, it's a strong candle push down. This can still be considered manipulation. So I'm going to draw this out, SD. This lines up to here. We kind of slowed down a little bit. Well, yeah, let's see what keeps going on here. So now we retrace to discount of this leg. And now I want to see an SMT here, equal lows here, and higher highs here. So here's an SMT, push up inside of this little fractal. Did we reach discount? We did, so we wicked discount. We also did disrespect this 1 minute as well, but that's because the 1 minute was in premium for longs. Then we got a massive pump up. This was probably from news. Let's check real quick. No, it was not. There was no news at the time, apparently. This was near the market close, though. I was not even looking at the charts at this time. I was actually at work, so did not trade during this time. But yeah, absolutely massive pump, and this pump did end up taking this high. So now let's see if ES has taken out this high. So ES also did take out this high. It actually took out previous high that an SMT was created on. So that is good, right? So now we may see some more structure. Obviously, something I'd like us to see could be, since we have took out this high, I want to see us in this entire range. We could either retrace the discount of this to move higher and take out this to get us into premium of this massive entire 15-minute range to then head lower, or we can just go right up here in the overnight session and then start selling off to go lower, right? Different combinations of different things that can happen here. Now guys, this all right here is just a very, very small amount of what the market actually did today, right? I only went over sort of the main sort of things I'm looking at, but like as a scalper, you would look at every single one of these legs on a smaller time frame, fractal by fractal, right? You have, this is a fractal, this is a leg fractal, but inside of this leg fractal we have more legs, right? And inside of those legs we have even more legs that can be further defined, right? This could be all one leg, but inside that leg we have multiple legs, and inside those multiple legs we have multiple senior legs, and all of those can be fractals. All of those, like every single one of these legs right here, could look like these legs right here on a smaller time frame, right? So this right here could be, for example, a 5-second time frame, all compact into just a few minutes, or it could also be a daily time frame, right? Could all look the same. So yeah, we have gotten a massive pump up, took out this liquidity. Let's see where we are now. We sort of just consolidated. That is expected. But yeah, that's all I have for this charting session. Let's look for tomorrow's news. So we have 8:30. This should be pretty good. And then 10 a.m. Consumer sentiment. Okay, tomorrow's going to be a pretty good Friday. So yeah, that's all I have for the charting session. I hope you all have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.